You could read every book on self-love, binge-watch all the right videos, and repeat affirmations like a mantra. I love myself, 1,000 times a day. But if you don't understand this one thing, all that love you're trying to feel will keep slipping through your fingers. Today, I'm not here to drop more theory on you. I'm here to give you the key. This is something almost no one talks about, something Carl Jung understood long ago, and once you see it, it will completely change the way you relate to yourself and to everyone around you. If you're still watching this, chances are there's a part of you that already knows something is missing, something deeper. This isn't just about learning to accept your shadow or balance your energies. No, this is about how to actually use those ideas to change your life. By the time we're done, you won't just understand why you've struggled to feel truly loved. You'll have a practical, step-by-step way to rewrite the way you love yourself and how others love you in return. Let's get one thing straight. Your relationships aren't random. The people you're attracted to or pushed away by aren't showing up by accident. They're mirrors, every one of them. They reflect back to you the parts of yourself that are unresolved, hidden, or still waiting to be acknowledged. Think back to the last person who made you feel something intense, whether that was love, admiration, frustration, or even anger. That person wasn't just a character in your story. They were holding up a mirror that showed you something about yourself. Maybe you're always drawn to people who make you feel insecure, or you find yourself constantly annoyed by people who act a certain way. Maybe they're arrogant, loud, needy, too emotional. Whatever it is, there's a reason that behavior affects you so strongly. What you're feeling isn't just about them, it's about what you're projecting. And that's what today is really about, learning how to use these emotional mirrors to understand and heal the parts of yourself you've ignored. Because if you don't, you'll keep looking for love in all the wrong places. The question isn't, why does this person act like that? The real question is, what is this person showing me about me? This idea, the relational mirror, goes way deeper than most people realize. When someone sparks a really strong emotional reaction in you, whether positive or negative, it's often because they're reflecting a part of your shadow. Let's break this down. Start by looking at the patterns in your relationships. Are you constantly drawn to people with similar traits? Or do you find yourself always avoiding certain kinds of people? Both attraction and avoidance are clues. They're two sides of the same coin, and they point straight to your inner world. So ask yourself, what is it that you admire in the people you're drawn to? Is it their freedom, their confidence, their ability to speak their truth? Chances are those are qualities you wish you could fully express in yourself, but haven't figured out how. And what about the people who annoy you? What exactly about them gets under your skin? Is it the arrogance, the neediness, the control? Here's the twist. You probably carry those same traits somewhere within yourself, but you've buried them. Maybe you're ashamed of them. Maybe you've denied them for so long you don't even realize they're there. And that's the essence of shadow work. Real shadow work, not just spiritual buzzwords, but deep, honest, uncomfortable reflection. Because true healing only begins when you're willing to see the parts of yourself you've kept hidden, even from yourself. Now here's something wild, your most difficult relationships, the ones that leave you confused, frustrated, drained, they're often your greatest teachers. Yep, even that person, the one who triggers you the most, might just be the key to unlocking something essential inside of you. It's not a coincidence that certain people keep showing up in your life. They're not accidents. They're messengers, karmic messengers, guiding you toward integration. And here's the other side of that. Just like others mirror you, you mirror them. When someone has a strong reaction to you, it's not always about you. Often, they're reacting to what you reflect back to them. When you understand this, your entire approach to relationships shifts. You stop taking everything personally. You begin responding with curiosity instead of defensiveness, and that builds both compassion and accountability. Now, this isn't just about noticing patterns, it's about transforming them. Once you can recognize which part of you is being triggered in a certain relationship, you can begin the healing process. You start integrating those lost, denied, or underdeveloped parts of yourself. And when that happens, when you begin to become whole, your relationships change, naturally, effortlessly. But let me be honest, this doesn't happen overnight. This is a process, a practice, and it starts by observing your emotions without judgment. Become a curious scientist of your own reactions. Over time, you'll notice something amazing. the people who once triggered you no longer have that same power. Their behavior won't shake you the way it used to. You'll find yourself feeling more grounded, more at peace. And more importantly, you'll start attracting people who reflect your wholeness, not your wounds. You won't chase love out of desperation anymore. You'll connect from a place of fullness, of completeness. Because here's the hard truth, the part of yourself that you reject, that's the part that's sabotaging your relationships. You can't fully love or be loved until you embrace all of who you are. So take a moment. Think about the parts of yourself you try to hide, the traits you don't like, the impulses you suppress. That's your shadow. And if you don't make peace with it, you'll keep projecting it onto everyone else. You'll keep being triggered. You'll keep repeating the same patterns over and over again. Let me give you an example. If you find arrogance in others unbearable, it might be because there's a part of you that fears being seen as arrogant. Or maybe, deep down, you feel superior but are ashamed to admit it, even to yourself. If you're constantly drawn to people who make you feel small, it might be because there's a part of you that doesn't believe you're big enough. This is why shadow work isn't about becoming perfect. It's about becoming whole. Only when you stop rejecting parts of yourself can you love, and be loved, authentically. And this is where a massive reframe happens. Your shadow isn't just made of your negative traits. It also holds your unrecognized gifts. When you disown parts of yourself, whether they're dark or dazzling, you split your being. You create this invisible wall that blocks the deep connection you crave. But when you start embracing all of it, the messy, the powerful, the sensitive, the bold, you stop searching for love like it's something out there. You realize you are love. And when you truly live from that space, connection becomes inevitable. That inner fragmentation, the split between who you are and what you allow yourself to be, it's what drives us to seek love in others. But what we're really trying to do is find the pieces of ourselves we've pushed away. Every time you harshly judge someone, every time you react more strongly than seems rational, pause and pay attention. That intensity, it's a mirror. It's showing you something inside yourself you've been unwilling to see. Maybe vulnerability in someone else makes you cringe. Why? Could it be because you're afraid of your own softness, your own fragile side? Or maybe you scoff at people who chase success obsessively. But deep down, maybe that's your dream too. Maybe you've buried your own desire for recognition because you were told it was wrong to want more. Even your romantic attractions. Yep, those butterflies in your stomach, they're not random either. We're often drawn to people who fully express what we've repressed. If you're magnetically pulled to dominant, assertive personalities, ask yourself, am I craving a part of myself that wants to own space and take the lead? Or if you keep falling for people who need saving, it's possible you're projecting your own hidden need to be nurtured, to be seen, to be held. And this is where things get tricky. Because the way your shadow plays out in relationships, it's not always obvious. It's subtle, sneaky. It shows up in self-sabotage. Let's say you're terrified of being abandoned. You might not even realize it, but you push people away before they can leave you. Or maybe you fear being controlled, so you resist every suggestion your partner makes, even when it's harmless, even when it's good for you. These aren't just quirks, they're defense mechanisms. Your shadow has been calling the shots. But here's the good news, you can reclaim your power. And it starts with one courageous step, being willing to look. Whenever you feel that strong emotional charge, don't react, get curious. Ask yourself, where does this live inside me? Not to blame yourself, not to judge, but to understand, to know yourself better. Integration starts there, but it doesn't stop with just seeing your shadow. You also have to start expressing the parts of you that have been silenced. That might mean tapping into a creativity you've long denied, or allowing yourself to be vulnerable with people who have earned your trust. It might mean admitting your need for connection or your hunger for freedom. And as you bring those hidden pieces into the light, something magical happens. They stop being saboteurs. They become strengths. Here's a powerful way to begin this process. Write a letter to your shadow. Sounds strange? Try it. Acknowledge it. Thank it for protecting you. Tell it you're ready to work with it, not against it. That simple act of treating your shadow with compassion instead of fear can be the beginning of a radical reconciliation within yourself. And here's the beautiful paradox. The more you accept your darkest parts, the more your light shines. The more you embrace your imperfections, the more real you become. And in that realness, your raw, authentic, integrated self, you become magnetic. Because here's the truth. The deepest, most fulfilling relationships don't happen between perfect people. They happen between whole people, people who have faced their darkness and chosen to show up anyway. In those relationships, you don't need someone to fill your void. You come already full. You're not projecting your fears or wounds onto them. You're owning them. That's what love really is, not just butterflies or chemistry, but growth. Every relationship is a mirror. Every conflict is a message. Every heartache, every disappointment, it's all showing you something about you. Let's take an example. Maybe you always end up feeling abandoned in relationships. Why does that keep happening? It's not just bad luck. It's because you have an abandonment wound that hasn't been healed. Or maybe you're always seeking people who make you feel safe and validated. That's not about them. It's about the part of you that still doesn't feel worthy. The part that's scared of being invisible. And until you see those patterns clearly, you'll keep attracting relationships that mirror those exact same dynamics. Love will feel like a roller coaster, highs that soar and crashes that sting. But here's what changes everything, realizing that love isn't just something you get from someone else. It's a tool for self-discovery. When we only see love as something to make us happy or fill a need, we lose its deeper purpose. Because love isn't just pleasure. Love is transformation. Your relationships are your most intense classroom. They show you the parts of yourself that you could never see in a mirror. And until you learn the lesson, the pattern repeats. The names change, the faces change, but the feeling stays the same. Maybe you've always ended up with emotionally unavailable people. Or you keep finding yourself in relationships where you are the caretaker, the fixer. It's not an accident. These patterns are messages, invitations, clues. Each one is pointing to something inside of you that's calling out for attention. Psychology gives us a clue here. Attachment theory tells us that our earliest relationships shape how we relate in adulthood. If love in your childhood was inconsistent, if it came with conditions, if it felt unpredictable or unsafe, then part of you might still be chasing that same dynamic now. Not because you want to suffer, but because it's familiar, and the brain is wired to return to what it knows, even when it hurts. So what's the first step? Awareness. Start connecting the dots. Look at your relationship history not with shame, but like a detective. What patterns keep showing up? Are you always the one chasing? Always the one giving more? Always the one shrinking to be loved? These aren't flaws, they're signals. And when you listen to them, they'll lead you straight to the wound that's been waiting to be healed. And this is the deeper purpose of love. It's not just to make you feel good. It's to reveal you to yourself. It's in closeness, in conflict, in intimacy, that the things we've buried come to light. That's the magic of relationships. They show us what we would never discover alone. So the next time tension arises in your relationship, ask this, not who's right or who messed up, but what is this showing me about myself? Maybe your overreaction to a comment isn't about the comment at all. It's about an old insecurity. Maybe your need to control every detail in a relationship is actually your fear of being abandoned, of losing yourself. These insights can be uncomfortable, yes, but they're pure gold for anyone serious about growth. Even your attractions, the ones that make your heart race, are messengers. They draw you toward what's missing in you. If you're captivated by someone's freedom, it might be time to free yourself. If someone's creativity mesmerizes you, it could be that your inner artist is begging to be seen. And even heartbreak, as painful as it is, carries a gift. When a relationship ends, you face a choice. You can stay in blame, or you can go within and ask, what did this teach me? That choice, that single moment, decides everything. Whether you become bitter or wiser, whether you repeat the pattern or rise above it. Mature love doesn't chase perfection in a partner. It seeks evolution. It sees conflict as a doorway, a way to break through walls you didn't even know you had. When two people are committed to growing together, the relationship becomes a sacred space. A space where both people expand, not despite each other, but because of each other. And ironically, when you approach love this way, happiness isn't something you chase. It just happens, quietly, sustainably, from the inside out. Because now your fulfillment isn't tied to how someone treats you. It comes from your own growth, from the depth of connection you're creating, first with yourself, then with others. This is the moment the shift begins. When you stop saying things like, "I always attract the wrong people," and start asking, "Why am I choosing them?" That's when you stop being a victim of your love life and become the creator of it. Why do you keep ending up in the same kinds of relationships? It's not random, it's not bad luck, and it's definitely not because you're just not meant for love. The answer is buried deep inside your subconscious. Those patterns you keep repeating over and over again, they're signals, messages from within pointing to emotional wounds that haven't fully healed yet. Let's say you constantly feel drawn to people who make you suffer. That isn't because you enjoy the pain, it's because there's a part of you that learned to associate love with suffering. Somewhere in your past, love may have come with conditions or consequences. Or maybe you crave constant validation from your partner. It could be that deep down there's a belief that you're not worthy, that you have to earn love. Here's the thing. Until you bring those beliefs into the light, you'll keep repeating the same cycles, different faces, same pain. Toxic relationship patterns often feel like fate, like no matter what you do, you're stuck. But in reality, they're more like math, precise and predictable. These dynamics don't follow your hopes, they follow your programming. But that programming, it can be rewritten. Let's talk about where it starts. Most of these patterns trace all the way back to childhood, when you were first learning what love looked like, what safety felt like, and who you had to be in order to be accepted. If you were only loved when you performed, achieved, or made others happy, you may now find yourself always trying to prove your worth in relationships. If you grew up in a home where affection came alongside criticism, you might feel strangely at home in chaotic or tense dynamics, even though a part of you knows it's unhealthy. It's not your fault, it's familiar, and the brain is wired to return to what it knows, even if what it knows hurts. That's why the first and most powerful step is awareness. Take a step back and look at your relationship history like you're watching a movie. No shame, just observation. Do you always feel abandoned? Do you fall for emotionally unavailable people? Do you lose your identity in relationships? These aren't coincidences, they're clues. Each one points to a deeper belief you've been carrying. Behind every toxic pattern is a limiting belief. If you keep attracting people who betray your trust, maybe you believe you're not worthy of loyalty. If you find yourself in controlling relationships again and again, it could be because you doubt your own ability to make decisions, so you unconsciously hand your power over to others. These beliefs act like magnets, and until you change the internal narrative, the outer story will stay the same. But don't worry, this isn't just psychology, it's biology too. Neuroscience tells us these patterns form actual pathways in the brain. Every time you react in the same way, every time you repeat the same cycle, you strengthen that neural circuit. But the amazing thing is this: you can create new circuits. You can rewire your emotional brain. And the rewiring begins with paying attention to your triggers, those specific situations that stir up huge emotional reactions. Maybe a simple, "Hey, I'll be late" from your partner sends you spiraling with fear. Maybe a comment about your appearance ruins your entire day. Those triggers aren't random, they're windows into your core wounds. And healing starts when you stop outsourcing responsibility. Not to blame yourself, but to empower yourself. Because as long as you see yourself as a victim of fate or your partner's behavior, you stay stuck. But when you realize you've been playing out an old script, you can choose to write a new one. So how do you begin? Reconnect with your body. Relational addictions. Yes, that's a thing, work like any other addiction. There are somatic signals that happen before you act compulsively. Start noticing how toxicity feels in your body. That rush of adrenaline, that twisted excitement, that shaky feeling you confuse with passion. Sometimes what feels exciting is just your nervous system reliving a trauma it never healed from. And when you recognize that, you create space to choose something new. That's where boundaries come in. Boundaries are not walls, they're not punishment, they're self-respect in action. If you know you lose your identity in relationships, Create rituals to stay connected to yourself, your passions, your space, your voice. If you're often pulled toward narcissistic or manipulative partners, decide in advance what behaviors you simply won't accept anymore. Write them down if you need to. Because every time you honor a boundary, you're telling your inner child, "I've got you now." Real transformation isn't dramatic, it's subtle. It's in the everyday decisions to choose something different. If chaos has always felt like home, calm might feel boring at first. That's okay. It's not boring, it's new. It's unfamiliar. You're not losing passion, you're learning peace. Remember, this process isn't linear. You will have moments when old patterns resurface, temptations to go back to what's familiar. Don't beat yourself up. Every time you notice the pattern and pause, even if you don't get it right, you're building a new neural pathway, a new self, a new future. Your brain is capable of changing, and so is your heart. The goal isn't perfection, it's freedom, it's choice. When you're no longer ruled by unconscious programming, you can choose love. Real love, not based on fear but on wholeness. And that's the most powerful thing. Authentic love isn't something you find, it's something you create. When you love yourself unconditionally, not just on your good days but on your bad ones too, love stops being something you chase. It becomes something you are. And everything changes. You stop seeing love as a destination and start seeing it as a journey. We were taught that love is something outside of us, that one day, if we're lucky, we'll find it. We wait to be chosen, to be seen, to be loved. But that story is backwards. Real love isn't something someone gives you. It's something that flows from you. When you stop searching and start being love, you transform the very way you connect. You stop needing someone to complete you. You begin sharing your fullness with them. Your relationships become spaces of freedom, not emotional survival. You're not looking for someone to rescue you. You're not waiting for a savior. You're showing up whole and meeting others who do the same. And ironically, when you stop needing love, that's when you receive it the most deeply. You attract people who reflect your integrity, your frequency, your truth. Because like attracts like. And let's be clear, this isn't narcissism. This isn't about being self-obsessed. True self-love is the opposite of that. Narcissism comes from a deep void. It needs constant validation. It's about control. But authentic self-love is grounded, compassionate, whole. It lets you see others more clearly because you're no longer projecting your wounds onto them. Here's a beautiful practice. When you feel fear, sadness, shame, anger, pause. Instead of pushing it away, meet it. Let it be. Give it space. Talk to it like you would a younger version of yourself. That radical self-acceptance changes everything. Because love isn't a moment, it's a practice. Some days will be hard, old stories will resurface, that's normal. But every time you return to love, to your truth, to your inner wholeness, you grow stronger. Here's the final paradox. You've been looking for love your whole life, and it's been with you all along. You were swimming in it, breathing it, being it. Your task was never to find it. It was to recognize it, to express it, first inward, then outward. This is the message mystics, sages, and poets have whispered for centuries. Love is not something you do, it's who you are. When you live from that place, every relationship becomes sacred. Every moment becomes connection. Every breath becomes love in action. No one will ever love you more deeply than you can. And when you finally see that, love stops being a search. It becomes your expression. If this resonated with you, share it. Let someone else hear what they've been missing. And if you want to keep exploring this journey of transformation, hit subscribe. Tap the bell. Let's keep growing together. Because love isn't something you find, it's something you build. And that journey starts right now. Thank you for being here. I'll see you in the next one.